recognize the name. I'd like to call to order the Jacksonville Planning Advisory Board meeting for August the 13th, 2018. We will stand and be led by Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Al Keys, followed by the invocation by Mr. Homer Springs.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this chance to come together and do the business for the citizens of Jacksonville. We pray that you help us make great decisions for the city. We'd also like to ask that you be with those that are in distress throughout our country and our world. Give us the wisdom to act wisely. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Wow, it's good to see everybody. We did not have the pleasure of having a meeting for the month of July, so I guess we got a little bit of a break. So we are here, and those who follow us on G10, we're glad to have you watching us tonight. Kind of a short meeting, but we've got some things we got to do. So we're glad everybody's here, glad everything's going, and boy, the rain, we're getting a lot of it. But so hopefully everybody's safe out there, and it's been quite a challenge, especially this past weekend. So we will move on to the approval for the agenda for this evening.
Motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion by Mr. Steve.
Second.
And a second by Ms. Thomasia. Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you very much. We have a review and approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which was in June. It was actually a two-part meeting. There was some confusion there about whether we had a quorum or not, so we came back together and had a special meeting following the regular meeting And so any additions or corrections to those minutes from that meeting? If not, I need a motion to approve those minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, June 11th, and the special meeting, June 14th, longest recess in history.
I second.
So motion by Mr. Homer and a second by Ms. Teresa. Those in favor, raise your hand, please. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, city council update. Mr. Bob Warden, how you doing?
Fine, sir. How are you doing?
Good.
Everybody looks nice and tan.
Yeah.
The end of the summer, you know, we're all supposed to be
Yeah.
a little browner than we
You
started out
you
with.
look great yourself.
Thank you. We just have a couple of items, really kind of quiet summer even for us too. We approved the text amendment for the temporary classrooms for the school board. You remember we had some issues on how many we could allow on city property at city schools, and we've amended that and trying to work with the school board. We know they're under a mandate to change the classroom size for kindergarten through third grade, and they're under some financial strain. So, and of course, any financial strain they go under, it sort of reflects back on the whole county. You know, as you know, that's paid for by property taxes. So we're trying to do our part to help alleviate some of that strain. And the other thing was, the other thing that we approved, you remember the General Assembly last year made some changes to subdivisions. And if you recall, those were mandated and you all had to rubber stamp, and we did the same thing. Since the General Assembly made the changes, we had to, get in line with them too. So that's all we've really done, just the classrooms, the temporary classrooms at the city schools, and that General Assembly mandated subdivision changes. Mr. Chairman,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. Thanks for all y'all's hard work. All right, so we're gonna move into the new business. First item on the agenda is the nominations, elections of the new chairman and vice chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put a name up for chairman, please.
Okay,
I would like to nominate Homer Spring. He has done such a great job for us in the past, and I think we could look forward to him doing such a good job in the future.
I'd like to second that, Mr. Chairman.
okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Vanderveer and a second by Ms. Moore. Any further nominations?
I'll move that it be closed on
We
that
have a
one.
move closed by Mr. Alkes. All right, those in favor of Mr. Homer Spring being chairperson, please raise your right hand. Okay, very good. All right, we need a nomination for vice chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I nominate you.
I must be doing an outstanding job, so. Okay, all right, so we have a motion by Mr. Alkes for me to be vice chairman. And I have a second by Mr. Steve Forney. All right, and any other nominations for vice chairman?
I move the nominations be closed.
Okay. All those in favor,
Second.
raise your hand, please. Okay. All right.
Yay.
Thank you guys for believing us in so much, okay? So it's always nice to have good, solid people who've been on here and lots of good experience. So anyway, thank you. So I've enjoyed being chairman, so I'm glad to turn the reins over to the new chairman. So, matter of fact, take it away,
I thought you
chairman.
had to finish the meeting.
No, you already got voted in.
Okay.
So,
Our next order of business, thank you very much, is,
you're welcome.
I hope I can only do as.
Oh, you always do a great job.
Okay, under new business, number B, a special use permit, the site plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Planning Advisory Board. We have before you a special use permit and type 3 site plan for Abra Body and Glass. You may be familiar with that name as they have been in front of this board a few times over the last year, a couple of years. They are proposing to open a new automotive paint and body shop at 2679 Richlands Highway. Some of you may know this formerly as the Mako Auto Repair Place or the Pepsi distributor. Most recently, it was Colonial Materials. It's next door to the Castrol Oil and Lube, part of the Freedom Village shopping area. You'll notice a vicinity map before you on the map showing the location. Here's aerial photography 2016 of the site. This property is 2.43 acres. It is currently zoned corridor commercial. It is corridor commercial by all adjacent properties. The purple on the screen that you see, the purple hash, is the flight path overlay. That will not affect this property as there is minimal what's the word I'm looking for? Minimum activity that would go on in that area if it were approved. The design professional or representative of the applicant is Mr. John Pierce of John L. Pierce and Associates. This property is currently located in the ETJ and as proposed will continue to be in the ETJ. It is serviced by a septic system on site and it is serviced by city water, but they do pay the out-of-city rates. Before you on the screen is the proposed site plan. They are not adding square footage to the buildings, but they will be adding some pavement, some curbing, and the site will come up to a 100% compliance with our landscaping standards. Not that it should affect your decision any, but given the applicant and their nature of development in the city, they did an extraordinary job with the other location on Lejeune Boulevard, and staff would expect no less on this site. There are no proposed conditions on this property or on this project. Staff is recommending approval with findings of fact A through G being found in the affirmative. Mr. John Pierce and staff will be here to answer any questions you may have.
I just have a couple of general questions or comments. It's my understanding that the vegetation that will be planted out front next to the Richlands Highway will be shorter than otherwise because of the power line.
That's correct. It is understory trees. The ordinance requires, first and foremost, canopy large trees, but because of the overhead wiring, they have, did a two-for-one swap.
Left boundary or across the front?
He is speaking across Richlands Highway.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is a large transmission line that runs on the northern side of the property. And the understory trees that are generally located, are required with the perimeter lawn have been relocated throughout the site because of Duke Progress's requirements not to have any large trees within their power line easements. And staff allowed that flexibility as part of this site plan and special use permit. Because if they were to be planted there, they would continually be trimmed by Progress and really be ineffective. We did something similar with Fire Station Number 3 on Gum Ranch Road. And that will continue to be issues as, not an issue per se, but as developments grow around the transmission lines around the city, because we have some major transmission lines that cut through the city of Jacksonville.
One other comment regarding the fencing. The fencing is specified as wood.
That's correct. That is required by ordinance for any automotive service repair that's going to have outside storage, specifically with auto body paint, that their outside storage area be a solid opaque wood or masonry fence.
Only questions I have.
Thank you, Al. Any other questions? Any other comments? If not, a motion would be in order. Remember, please, to make your motion dependent upon findings of fact A through G being in the affirmative.
I'd like to make that motion. Please do. That we approve the special use permit for this type 3 site plan, and finding facts A through G.
We have a motion,
Second.
second by Ms. Moore. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Motion passes. Good to see you again, Mr. Pierce.
Be going in front of the city council next Tuesday night at their regular meeting.
I think that's it for us. Ryan, you're up.
Thank you, Chairman. The first thing I'd like to do is, because it wasn't necessarily presented that way, that the city code only allows a chairperson or vice chairman to serve one-year term and may be reelected for 1 year. So both previous Chairman Lasan and previous Vice Chair Spring had served 2 years in that capacity. And thank you for your service as Chairman, Dr. Lasan, and Vice Chairman Spring. But 2 years was up, and, you know, the city code required that you change versus that you've done something, you know, that's not the reason why you were removed, is basically,
I know
you know, to go through the process. So I know you all know that,
We
that
know
was
the
in the
rules,
item,
yeah.
I just kind of, that's more for TV land more so than anything.
Let the public.
So just thank you for your last 2 years, Chairman and Vice Chairman, and we look forward to the next 2.
Well, you
or one.
guys make our job easy, believe me.
And we appreciate that. We're happy to do that. As mentioned earlier, there is a city code amendment that is being processed. I believe it too will be in front of city council on Tuesday night to add some clarity to the quorum concern that you all are familiar with from our double meeting in June. So, and we had 2 meetings in June, so we gave you July off. So, but there was some conflicting information where between statute and city code in 2 different places. So that will be cleared up. In essence, it will just be simple majority moving forward. So that will be good for everybody, because I thought it was, you know, how do you go with a half a person? So you round up. So, because I'm going to be conservative about it, but so that will be addressed hopefully next Tuesday night, I believe is when that's scheduled. So, and Chairman left. So to come back to the modular classroom, so just to kind of give the board an update, and I hope my numbers are not incorrect here, but Bell Fork Elementary has requested 1 or 2 that would bring them to the 6-unit total. And Jacksonville Commons Middle School, I believe they requested 4. They don't currently have any, so that'll bring them to 4 of their 6 allowed for the 2 or 3 year time period there at staff's approval level. And then Carolina Forest Elementary had 11 that was previously approved, and I believe 1 went to city council via management report to be approved, which will bring them to a total of 12. So that's all that we've seen on the temporary modular school structure issue that Councilman Warden mentioned they approved at their last meeting.
What's the limit?
The limit that staff can approve is 6. Anything beyond 6, we would basically process, review to make sure it meets code, and then we would send it to city council for consideration via a management report. And that's for 3 years, and then I believe it's either 2 or 3 years, and then subsequent extensions can be approved by city council on a case-by-case basis.
Do you know if the Board of Education is going to expand Carolina Forest, or are they planning another school for that area?
Based on what we heard presented from Mr. Myers with the Alonzo County Board of Education, I believe their strategy is to, over the next couple of years, build some schools that would allow some redistricting, for some redistrict to occur so that they could be redistricted, and then it would shift kind of the load. The problem is, you know, they're just another Carolina Forest or plantation within that general area away from being in the same situation they're in now. So, and that's the part that the school board can't necessarily crystal ball, is where is the next development. I mean, there's some vacant land in that general area, and if the market determines that there's a need for some houses and the developers go in there and build another subdivision, they may have to adjust their plan, but that's the way that I understood it to be their plan moving forward in the next 2 or 3 years.
Ron, if I could just interject, my understanding was along the same lines, but that it might not be until somewhere around 2022 at the earliest that we'll see some alleviation on Carolina Forest overcrowding. So, and I'm a little concerned, you know that the Board of Commissioners has done away with the funding formula that they had agreed upon with the Board of Education. And then so I don't know, you know, what we were told by Mr. Myers was based on the old formula, where they had actually planned, I think, to start a school to help alleviate Carolina Forest problems. I don't know whether that's going to be impacted or not now, so I don't really know. You know, it's not a good situation when you've got 12, 13 temporary classrooms in a school. It's just not, it's not acceptable in my mind, but, you know, we felt like our hands were tied and we needed to help the school board best we could do. So I don't know what's going to happen. You know, the bad thing about those temporaries is that they're outside, they're not connected by any covered canopy, so the kids going to, and Mr. Spring knows this better than probably any of us, but the kids, you know, to go to cafeteria have to go in the rain or the snow or whatever, or if they're going to art class, or if they're going to PE indoors or whatever. Everything they're going to do, they've got to, whatever the weather is, they get to participate in it because there's no canopy. And, you know, we already got a problem. They can't start serving lunch any earlier. For example, one of my grandsons was eating lunch at 10:10 in the morning, 10 minutes after 10 o'clock in the morning, eating lunch so that they could have enough time to get all the kids in that school all the way through the lunch lines. Well, you know, just adding classrooms to a school is not gonna, that's just making that problem worse. So we're blessed with growth, but we're also cursed with growth. So it's I guess we'd rather have growth than going backwards, but it's not easy for the school board or the Board of Commissioners. I don't envy either one of those groups having to come up with that money, so.
That's all I have. Thank you, Councilman.
Okay, we've been through everything we need to go through. Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
Motion from Ms. Vanderveer to adjourn. Second.
Second.
Mr. Forney. I hear that, declare this meeting adjourned.
Adjourn.